This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On Air.
Hi, welcome to Diversity Dispatch, your local queer and rainbow podcast. Now the microphones are on. Hello, this is our third attempt.
Yay!
I was saying second attempt and then I realized I didn't turn the mics on. Hello.
Hello. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. Anne Argy here, back as a guest because I somehow still have not been banned from daytime radio.
Yeah. So we were recording the episode initially. We got like a whole
yeah, we were like halfway through, just about. No, not quite.
No.
Felt like it halfway through.
Maybe like a third. But we got a fair way through when I realized that someone had turned Anne's mic recording all the way down. So that was on 0, and it was just me being recorded. So I was just having a one-sided conversation with the Hat Man.
As you usually do.
Yeah. Not that you would know because you don't listen to this podcast. Traitor. Traitor. Can't believe you.
Wow, okay.
Anyway, we were talking about what our favourite scents were, but I feel like we need to find something new.
Yeah, because it won't be organic anymore.
It won't. Speeches in English class.
Speeches in English class.
Because you said organic, and I remembered when my younger brother, he did a speech in, what was it? It would have been like year 7 for him, because when they were telling them about how to do the speeches and everything, his teacher specifically said, don't talk about grass because you can't make a conversation topic out of that. So my little brother took that as a personal challenge and talked about grass for like over 3 minutes. And you know what? He got a merit. So,
oh my God.
Not bad. Do you have a favorite speech topic? You gave a speech recently at the Trans Pride Rally.
Yeah. I spoke at the Trans Pride Rally. The International Socialist Organization, the local chapter, asked me to come and speak.
If you listened to the last episode of the pod, they were the only ones that messaged me.
Yeah. And so I kept it short and poignant, a lot of hard-hitting beats. My favorite bit that I had to say was, my existence is not something that can be debated, legislated, or defined by the state. And that got quoted in the paper, so that's very cool. Yeah, very much an honor to represent the rest of my trans community and the drag community through something like that, and very cool to have my activism as a drag artist recognized and be asked to do these sorts of things, yeah.
I so wish I could have gone, but I was working, and then I discovered on the day that it was open day at the Polytechnic.
Oh, no.
So all these parents and all their children were coming into my little coffee shop. And then I actually, like in the morning, I talked to my boss and I was like, hey, if it's not too busy, can I like slip away in the afternoon and go to this rally? And she was like, yes, you absolutely can as long as it's not too busy, because she's relatively new to hospo. So she can't really do too much on her own before she gets overwhelmed. But yeah, it was the open day.
Relatively new to hospo and is the boss.
Well, she bought the business like 8 weeks ago with her husband. Never worked in hospo before. She's picked it up really quickly. She's doing good. The faces you're making seem like you disagree with me, but you wouldn't know.
It's just petit bourgeoisie, but I won't trash your boss on the radio.
I won't take that though, because they have worked very, very hard for every single thing they have, and they prove it. Like, they might own the business, but they don't act like bosses. They act like one of the workers.
Okay, good. That's good.
They honestly do more than the rest of us.
Yeah, because I've definitely encountered a lot of business owners who just buy and sell businesses, and they never really get involved with
and that's what my
business
previous boss
does.
was like. That was what my previous boss was like. He just owned the place, but like he would come in for maybe an hour a week to do the payroll, and if we were like suffering and like super busy, he would just stay there on his little computer. He wouldn't like step up and help.
No, like one of my first proper jobs at like a buy and sell, it was the boss who was like going around and like getting all of our goods. Like he was going to the estate sales and the garage sales to pick up things for us to resell. Like the boss is doing the mahi, you know? Like the boss, yeah.
I would love to go to an estate sale. I feel like that's where all the good stuff is.
Oh yeah, dead people's things, incredible.
Yes. I would love a a mourning brooch.
Yeah.
With the picture and the hair.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if it's like some random person's hair and picture.
Mandatory that I don't know them.
Yeah. Even better if it's got the baby tooth in it.
You can make a voodoo doll for a dead person.
Are
you into voodoo?
Well, I believe voodoo is a closed practice, so no.
Is it?
Yeah, it's not a white people one.
Oh, well, yeah. But, like, not like, do you do it? Like, just like, are you into it? Like, do you think it's cool?
Yeah, I think voodoo's cool, absolutely.
I think voodoo's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were you going to say before I so rudely interrupted?
I totally forgot. I had something very interesting to say, and then it's
super
out the
interesting.
window. Yeah.
Speaking of, like, witchcraft and that sort of thing, I talked months and months ago about my explorations with atheopaganism. Do you know what atheopaganism is?
Paganism without deity worship.
Yeah. Oh, because you kind of...
Well, because I'm definitely into my paganism, my Celtic Reconstructionism, my Druidism. But for me, my deities are more just representations of nature.
Well, that's what atheopaganism is. And I was, like, so happy when I found that.
Yeah,
I can send you the book about it that I read.
Because I'm more comfortable, like, reconnecting with my ancestors just naturally and, like, doing a bit of reading here and there. Because I've got my thing of, like, I know that my Celtic ancestors worship trees before the Romans got there, so I have the tree man to worship. And he's complemented by the mushroom woman. And these are, like, the two figures that, to me, represent nature and represent my ancestors that I connect with and, like, commune with, even if it is just going outside and touching a tree.
Real. Yeah. I wish I knew more about my ancestry because I picked a middle name yesterday. I'm going to be getting my name legally changed very soon. I didn't have a middle... I had my dead middle name, which I wasn't sure if I was going to take, which was Iris, after my great-grandmother who passed away before I met her. But my nana, who immigrated from Wales, so I'm third-generation Welsh, helped me pick out a middle name, Idris, sort of like similar to Iris.
Oh, yeah.
But Welsh, not the biblical meaning. I don't claim that. I claim the Welsh origin. Well, because it means ardent leader, but then there's like this character, it's like one of Jesus' advisors or whatever, Idris. I was, nah. Not
because I think of Idris Elba, who... I don't know what else he's done, but he just voiced Knuckles in Sonic 3.
Oh, no!
Not to be autistic on the podcast and start talking about
that's
Sonic.
okay. This is the best place for it. Oh, man. I just picked it because I liked it.
Yeah, because I was about to go with, like, essentially my dad's name as my middle name. And then, like, the week that I had the paperwork in hand to change my name, I was like, actually... I think I want something different, and so I picked, like, my dad's stepdad's first name.
I'm struggling to follow your dad's stepdad's first name.
Yeah. So my grandpa, he was my grandpa, but not a...
Your legal grandpa.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's, like, people will understand, like, my dad's stepdad, but, like, this person was still my grandfather.
Yeah.
And he went by his middle name, shortened version of that, so then I took his first name as my middle name.
Right, because we have had this conversation before. You told me about it.
I'm just not going to say it on the air so I don't dox myself.
Oh, yeah, fair. Oh, I probably shouldn't have said my name. I mean, I don't think they know my last name. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway. Conversation. This room is very red.
Yeah.
How do you feel about color theory? I feel like it's too warm in here because of the red tones, whereas it's cooler in the blue room.
Like, are you talking about, like, color theory as in the colors around you? Or are you talking about color theory as in mixing colors?
Around you.
Okay, because I'm not very familiar with, like, colors around me and that sort of stuff.
I'm the opposite.
But I'm very onto, like, mixing colors.
Yeah, I'm not very good
and
at
narrowing it on my pigments. Like, I'm probably one of those freaks who has the fourth cone receptor. Cone. Yeah, because I can see all the different colors and, like,
cones are great.
Yeah, I love cones. I'm very good at. I absolutely love cones. I adore cones.
Specifically, cone receptors in the eyes for anyone listening.
But I love the like the colorblind number tests. I can always see the numbers. In the eyes.
I don't know. I probably only have the 3.
Yeah. It's very rare for people assigned male at birth to have it as well.
I know.
I think is it impossible or is it like just extreme?
I think it's just extremely rare because typically people assigned male at birth have
they're more likely
like
to be
2 or 3.
colorblind. Yeah,
yeah, and then people assigned female at birth typically have 3 or 4.
Yeah,
I think,
or they're more likely to have the 4th one.
Yeah,
because of the way, like, chromosomes work or something, and the way things are passed down.
I wonder where intersex people fall on that scale.
Yeah, true, because that's probably the like small percentage of like assigned male people at birth is they have possibly some intersex feature that's contributing to having
my genomes tested just to see.
Oh yeah, because like
it won't affect how I view myself, but I would love to know.
Like most people don't find out that they're intersex until they get a chromosome test.
And that's usually for some completely unrelated reason.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Olympics actually tried doing chromosome testing about 2 decades
ago.
And then
many cis men were finding out they were intersex.
And cis women, cis men and cis women were finding out they're intersex, that they had
but the cis men would have been more angry about it.
Because when I was studying it, I looked into it for some university thing. It was more about like the cis women who were finding out that they had like a Y chromosome or whatever, and then there would be like some other pushback from people about like, oh, like she's got a Y chromosome, she can't compete, da-da-da. And so the Olympics stopped doing that.
I saw this thing recently online. It's like, what was it? Too strong for sports but too weak for the military.
I mean, I don't think anybody should be in the military.
Neither do I. But like
I can't be that mad at a transgender military ban because I would dodge the draft.
How?
And if I don't have to dodge the draft, if
it's easier.
Yeah, it's easier.
Hypothetically, what would you do if you had to dodge the draft?
If they were gonna draft gays and trans people, I think I'd go into hiding. I think I'd just go off the grid for a bit.
What would the process be, though?
What do you mean?
To go off grid?
Oh, I have no idea. probably just go down south. Probably just go disappear in Milford Sound for a few years. Befriend the moose in there, the Fiordland moose.
Do we have?
So they're like a cryptid. So this was like 100 years ago that 6 or 8 Canadian moose were released into Fiordland. And then a few years ago, this is what makes me believe that there's still moose in Fiordland, is there was a Canadian over on a working visa flying over Fiordland in a helicopter, and they saw a moose.
Right.
And like, I would trust another Canadian to know what a moose looks like, and because they're massive animals. Yeah. You're not going to miss it, even without a rat.
They're supposed to be like 8 feet tall or something.
They are gigantic. If you hit one with your car,
the car crumples.
No, the hood goes under the legs, and the body of the moose goes into your windshield.
Oh.
Like, it is fatal. It is almost always fatal to collide with a moose because the moose's body is taking out your torso and your head.
That's a horrible thing to have happen, but also kind of amazing.
Yeah, there's a Mythbusters episode on it.
Is there?
Yes, there is. But yeah, I fully, because a Canadian spotted the moose, I would trust that eyewitness account. I believe that the moose are still there in Fiordland, even if they have a tiny, pathetic gene pool. I want to go find the moose and befriend them.
So finding the moose, what would you live off of?
Well, obviously, I'd kill one moose, and then that would be my protein source. I'd go for an older one.
But the moose. Also, how would you kill a moose?
Spear.
I feel like a moose is just gonna tank a spear.
Yeah, I actually don't know the proper hunting procedure for taking one down.
Don't. That's the procedure. Don't.
that probably is. It's probably some stuff of like, this is a really difficult animal.
I imagine it's like hunting a bear.
Oh, yeah.
It's like pointless, and you just shouldn't.
Yeah, like unless you're really... Because when my dad hunted moose, it was always with a gun, never with a bow or a crossbow. He did deer with bows and crossbows, but the moose was with the gun. And he never shot a moose. He never found one that was... the moose tags always went unused. He had a bear tag once. Because in Canada, you would have to, like, buy your tags to go hunting. So, like, you would, like, pre-buy your deer tags to hunt your deer and your moose tag and whatever. And, yeah, most years, like, my dad's hunting tags would just go completely unused because he never found the right specimen. You know, he'd be like, yeah, I was watching this deer for half an hour and then I decided it wasn't quite the one, so I let it go. It's like,
it sounded kind of like Jennifer Coolidge when you said that.
My dad's Jennifer Coolidge. I was in my tree roost watching this deer and it wasn't the right one, so I let it go.
I wish I could do like a funny impression, but anytime I think about doing it, I'm just like, no, I would screw it up and embarrass myself.
You gotta practice and learn how to do things with your mouth. Because I've always been a huge fan of voice actors, and so trying to emulate my favorite voice actors has helped me a lot to like learn how to mimic voices and like do the voice in drag and do impersonations, and then through like
Because you do kind of speak differently on stage.
yeah, like Anne has some voices that definitely aren't. Because sometimes there's the more of like the Tim Curry inspired voice that she'll have. Sometimes there's like a bit of a Jim Carrey one that I do sometimes as well for her. It just depends what comes out. But if I'm rambling for ages on stage, I'll default to like my normal voice like this. But when I'm starting the show, it's like, oh, hello, darlings, how are we doing this evening? Da 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 da. It's like, yeah, I just think I have a lot of respect for voice actors. And so it's a bit of my homage to like Maurice LaMarche and Rob Paulson and Tara Strong and like Billy West and all those icons who...
I only recognized one of those names.
What was the one name?
Billy West. And
Billy
that's
West.
not because I know who he is, I just recognized the name.
He does most of the voices in Futurama. He's like Fry and the Professor.
Right.
And Maurice LaMarche also worked on Futurama. He is the voice of Kef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always watched Futurama as a kid and The Simpsons and...
And Rob Paulson is Carl Weezer.
Who?
Carl Weezer from Jimmy Neutron.
I never really watched...
Hi, Jimmy's mom.
Do another voice.
What voice?
Dance, funny man, dance!
What, do you want Tim Curry again? I did Tim Curry on yesterday's podcast that I was on.
Oh, yeah. Because we did a pod episode over on the Rainbow Umbrella.
Yes, we did.
Don't know when that's airing.
Sometime next month.
Is it next month? Okay.
No, maybe not.
So all
last
the
year's
shout-outs
episode
we
took...
did of the gigs.
That'll probably all be cut out. I think that happened with the episode last year that we listed the upcoming gigs and then it aired after all of those gigs. I think the first time I recorded an episode with this podcast, the same thing happened. And it took forever to air, and then we just had to cut out all the events because it happened. The episode ended up airing after all those events had passed.
I would love to get like ahead of the recording schedule, but I just don't have the energy to
You're
do
going to
2
admit
episodes.
that on the episode?
No, everyone knows that I record the day before and then it uploads. Everyone knows that.
Everyone knows.
Everyone knows.
And now the audience knows as well.
The audience knew before you did.
Oh. That's because they actually listen and I don't.
Rude. How dare you? I can't believe you're not supporting your child's creative endeavors.
Is it to do with your drag?
No.
Yeah, it's kind of outside of my jurisdiction as your drag mother, isn't it? Where are your real parents to support you?
Well, let's not get into that. Not on air, at least.
Not on air.
Because there's some drama.
This isn't
cooking.
therapy.
I don't know. What's another conversation topic?
It's another conversation topic. What has been going on in the city recently?
I was talking with the bus driver this morning about the education system and how not great it is, and how apparently King's College is like way better than OGHS.
Oh yeah. So I'm not terribly familiar with the primary, intermediate, secondary system in this country.
Oh, right.
So I was with Dakota Correspondence for primary school, and we took that over to Canada. And then I started intermediate in Canada, did secondary there, came back here. But yeah, I have no idea what you guys are up to high school. I have, from what I understand, though, like the NCEA exams are kind of dumb.
Yeah, well, they're scrapping those.
Oh, good.
I think they already did scrap those.
Oh, excellent, yeah.
I don't know. Oh, you were gobsmacked when I talked about work day.
No, that
work
was
experience
terrible.
day.
That you had to pay to get your work experience?
Okay, I'll tell the pod.
Yeah,
I'll tell the
tell the
listeners,
pod.
the lovely listeners at home. So I did work experience in high school. I did 1 day of work experience. And basically they were like, okay, so you're not going to come to school today. You're going to yourself find somewhere to work at for the day. And if you don't find anywhere, you're going to be scraping gum off the bleachers and stuff like that, like the undesirable jobs.
Yeah.
And then before that, they're like, oh, yeah, you have to pay the school $50 to go on this work experience day, which came out of pocket.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
So my high school had like, it wasn't mandatory to do work experience, but if you were getting somebody with work experience, you could get extra credits from that.
Oh, we didn't even get any kind of
You
recognition.
didn't even
for
get
it.
credits because I got credits like that counted towards my graduation.
No.
I even got credits for like walking to school every day because it counted as like physical activity.
Seriously?
Yeah. Well, like because my high school in
I need to move to
BC,
Canada, man.
Yeah, because my high school in BC, it was like we had this portfolio project sort of thing to do in our last year, and there was all sorts of things you had to put in there. You could put the work experience, the exercise thing. They expected most people to like be doing a sport or whatever, but I was like, it's a 10-minute walk to school, so I get 20 minutes to walk every day.
I got into a sport and I did the South Island competition for volleyball.
We had
no recognition.
Yeah. As part of this portfolio thing, we had to do like a slideshow that answered a bunch of questions. So I took the how's a nice way to say I took the something.
What are you trying? I'll turn your mic off and you can say it. Oh, you can say that.
Oh, yeah. So I completely took the piss
in context,
out of this assignment. Yeah.
Because I had to ask that like last episode.
Because the first question on this slideshow was supposed to be like, who's somebody you admire? And so I turned this entire slideshow into talking about Waluigi. And I missed my initial chance to present it. And so when I met up with the counselor dude or whatever he was, he brings it up on the computer, looks through the slides real quick, and then he just turns to me and he's like, how about we just have a little chit chat instead?
Impromptu therapy.
So he just asked me questions about my life and was like, yep, that counts as your thing. Here's your credits. On your way.
I love that. I would throughout intermediate and high school, whenever we were asked to do something like that, I would come up blank because I didn't really admire anyone. There was no one that I thought, that is an amazing person. Nobody.
No, I didn't want to give them this serious answer because I thought the whole assignment was bullshit anyway. So I was like, well, I think Waluigi's cool. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. We're going to have to cut this episode short because Leo took so long to get out of the studio.
Oh, my God.
Oh, and probably also because we screwed up the start. That's probably more the reason.
I know.
But anyway, we will see everybody.
We'll see you guys
later.
next time.
Sorry
Bye.
for the abrupt ending. Thanks for listening. Diversity Dispatch is a fortnightly show on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Tune in next time on oar.org.nz or wherever you listen to your podcasts for more queer and diverse content. Over and out.
This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On the Air.